Larry King said on HuffPo the other day, and you can look at this either way. Say, I'm happy it's that way, or I'm not happy it's that way, or it may not be true. He said, the show is a lot about him as much as the guest. He is so different from me.
I'm different from Larry.
But are you different in that you've made the show about you rather than about the guest?
I think it was always about Larry King, wasn't it? It was called Larry King Live. It was a very personality-driven interview format with Larry. I've got huge respect for Larry. He's a legend. But he's been taking a few snipes at me. And
What's going on there?
He probably misses the show. He said that to me, that he misses the show. Yeah. And he's Larry. You know, Larry probably has good days and bad days. He's an irascible old devil in many ways. You know him well. As I say, I've got great respect for him. But if he keeps wanting people to highlight the difference, I would say this. I'm a journalist and Larry isn't. Larry was never a trained journalist. He was a radio guy. I'm a trained journalist to my veins. I spent 25 years in Fleet Street, 11 years as an editor-in-chief of a daily newspaper. That brings with it a different style of approach to both the delivery of a show and the interview technique. Larry didn't believe in research. You know, he famously would just turn up and wing it with guests, which worked very...
His famous saying was that he wanted to be the same place the audience was, so he didn't want to know too much.
Right, exactly, which, by the way, I used to love his show, so it worked for him. But for me, I like to be utterly forensic about the research, and I'm sure that you're very similar to that. And so we are very different in the style. You know, I'm half his age, or almost. I'm British, he's American. Larry did 25 years, I've done 2. I'm a journalist, he's a radio guy. You know, as he's a Jew from Brooklyn, I'm an Irish Catholic. I mean, there are a number of ways that we can differentiate ourselves, but ultimately what we both love is that we both love news and interviewing people, and we're curious about both, and that is the key to these shows. If I tried to emulate Larry King, I would be dead by now at CNN. I'd be off air. I deliberately tried not to be like Larry King.
So how are you at CNN right now?
Well, we were the figures came out for the year, for 2012. We were the highest viewed show on my network for the year, which I don't think is too bad after 2 years. I think we've established ourselves.
And how do you compare to Larry and where he was?
We're pretty well where he left it now, but bearing in mind...
You mean he was beginning to slide?
Well, for the last few years of Larry's tenure, as is well known, the ratings had slid pretty dramatically. We have stemmed the tide of decline, and in the last 3 or 4 months, we've seen really good growth.
Now, why do you think that is?
I think we found our voice, in all honesty, and I think all cable shows become established at a moment when you find a voice and you find something that resonates with the public. And I've been very gratified by the reaction we've had to what we've been doing on guns from people who just agree with me that something has to be done. But at the same time, I respect those who don't agree with me. They have a regular place on my show to engage in the debate. Sometimes it's fiery, sometimes it isn't. But ultimately, what we've done in the last 4 or 5 months since Aurora, I think, is establish a loud and coherent voice and a platform for debate about one of the big issues in America today.
How would you